Well, Sparkcast is flopping like a dying fish. Let's try something new. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel to one of the best animated movies and superhero movies of all time. I had absolutely no interest in seeing this movie. Yeah, I saw everyone being so excited for this movie, but if every Pixar sequel, save for Toy Story, has taught me anything, keep your expectations low for sequels to masterpieces. And if I had a nickel for every time I've been wrong for thinking such in 2023, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird having twice, right? So, yeah, this movie's amazing. I wasn't expecting to like it nearly this much. If you want a comparison, yes, this is much, much better than Guardians 3. Is it better than the original? Okay, so first of all, everything you loved about the first movie is here, bigger and better. The animation is on another level, which is very fitting for a sequel to the movie that changed the animation industry forever, and this just re-changed it. Honestly, I thought we had peaked with the original in Puss in Boots, but this is something else. The animation is fluid, fun, and a blast to ride through. And that's not even to mention all the different art styles that this movie has. Every different Spider-Man and Spider-Verse just looks fantastic. And speaking of spider people, all of them are so fun. Pavatar is probably my favorite. He's just hilarious to me, I don't know why. I also love Scarlet Spider. He's just a shadow character. He's not remotely important to the plot, but I just loved every scene he was in. 2099 was fantastic, but we'll talk about him in a minute. Peter B makes a great return with Mayday, and she's just adorable. I loved every scene she was in, and it's not just for the sake of being adorable. She actually has some plot relevance, very, very minimal plot relevance, but plot relevance nonetheless. But honestly, I'm just kind of a sucker for little baby characters that are just constantly cute. And both of this movie's villains are fantastic. I'm not going to go into spoilers yet, but the Spot is a fantastic joke villain, like the definition of joke villain. But he's not played off as annoying. In fact, his confrontations with the spider people are probably some of the best. And I do want to talk about him more in the spoiler section, but for now, the other villain, Miguel O'Hara, or Spider-Man 2099, he is fantastic. He is threatening. He is relentless. He is dark. Heck, this whole movie is just dark, like much darker than its predecessor. I wouldn't say it's as dark as, say, Guardians 3 or Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, but it is definitely up there in these little kid shows that have such dark and adult meanings, and I am all for that. Wow, my 2 a.m. self must have been very, very tired. No, this isn't a kid show, neither is Puss in Boots. This is definitely a movie for adults that is suitable for children. I can go on a whole video on what that means, but for right now, I just want to correct myself there. This movie is absolutely packed, and I wasn't expecting this much stuff to be put into it all, but it just works. That, and I was terrified that this was going to merge with the MCU and have some complicated shtick. That was probably my biggest fear of the movie. And thankfully, there are MCU elements, but they are kept not only to a minimum, but mostly are for cameo's sake. Out of which, one of the best cameos in the movie is an MCU reference. I'm not going to spoil it, of course, but there it is. So, thank you, Sony, for not throwing the Spider-Verse into the pit that the rest of Marvel has dug itself into. So in the end, it sounds like I have a lot to say about this movie, and I've said that the whole thing is bigger and better than the original. Is it actually better, though? Let's talk about that ending. Spoilers ahead. But before that, I do just want to quickly touch on the Spot and just how he transformed from this joke villain, literally a joke villain, he was a joke villain in the comics, to this multiversal threat. It is terrifying. It is so good. This is probably one of the best comic book villains I've ever seen. At least I think. The stem of my problems with this movie start at this scene where Miles is trying to get back to his own dimension. If you were lucky enough to not spot the fact that it says Earth 42 on the monitor, congratulations, your viewing experience was probably much, much better than mine. For me, the whole sequence where Miles is in the wrong dimension just dragged. I know it was trying to build up to a big reveal, but I knew it, and at the end I was just yelling, yeah, he's in the wrong dimension, get on with it. To fix this, I would say either make this whole build-up go by just a little bit quicker, or just not show Earth 42 on the screen. And then there's the ending. We see Spot make his way to Miles' dimension, thirsty for blood. Gwen has assembled a crew of spider people who are the good guys, and Miles is trapped in the wrong dimension. And we see those words, "To be continued." What? Sorry, I'm sorry, what? I honestly thought this was a fake out ending at first. My enjoyment of the movie immediately took a nosedive. This movie is incomplete. Also, I just barely found out that in the very first trailer for the movie, it did say part 1. How did I miss that? Now, some of you may think, oh, well, Avengers Infinity War did the exact same thing, and that movie was great, right? Let me tell you why you're wrong. Despite being a setup for Endgame, Infinity War works on its own. It functions as a complete story. We have exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution, even if those last two are rushed. Infinity War's ending was only so shocking because the villain won, and we thought, wait, the good guys are supposed to win, right? And then Endgame went through its new cycle of exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution, and that's how you make a two-parter. Two stories that function as two mountains part of the same mountain range, and together they are one intense hike. Heck, as underwhelming as part 1 is, even the Deathly Hallows follows this format. In Spider-Verse, we've gone through exposition, a lot of rising action, really amazing rising action, churn through the last 30 minutes if you're me, and get to just before the climax and cut it off there to fill another 2-hour movie with... what exactly? The main villain is on his way to kill the main target. We are this close to the peak until they camp out for another year. What was your plan here? It'd be like if Infinity War ended like this. This is the Metal Gear Solid 5 of film. It's amazing, incredible, it goes above and beyond in so many different ways, but it's just flat out unfinished. I mean, there are plans for the future, which is more than Phantom Pain can say, but cutting off here just seems like finishing your meal at the appetizers. Now, did I go into the movie expecting a bad time? Yes. Did I have a case of jaundice that probably hindered my enjoyment? Probably. Will this possibly be a masterpiece of a film duology once this part 2 comes out? Most likely. But as it stands, I cannot say that this is better than the original, or really any other movie, because scientifically, it isn't. Now, let me say, this is still an amazing movie. If you like it more than the first, good for you, I won't even argue. But that ending just rubs me the wrong way, so many different wrong ways, and I can't get past it. But what do you think? Do you think this movie is good enough to warrant such cliffhanger? Or do you think a theater with a sour taste in your mouth that wasn't from the jaundice? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to see some more quick reviews like this, just hit that like button and let me know. And with that, I'm done here. My name is AJ Plays, and look at the paper!